Elimination Chamber 2026 was another boring WWE PPV. This main true. Hello, my name's Ian, and this is my review of the Elimination Chamber 2026, which was again a very boring PPV. WWE, what are you even doing, guys? What are you doing? You don't seem to be able to do interesting shows at the moment. This was the most midquest, bland PPV they've done in ages, and that's saying something given how boring Royal Rumble was. It's really boring, and no common consensus is we should enjoy wrestling because we shouldn't overthink it. It's like, well, we're not overthinking it. I'm not even thinking it. I'm just not really vibing with what WWE is doing, and it stems from the fact that they clearly have plans. I think that's the thing about this generation debating this era. They clearly have plans. They're just not very interesting plans. Having plans is fine. Back in day Vince, he might be worse, but back in day Vince and Pat Patterson had planned for a year-long angle for the Mega Powers, destructing, uniting and destructing. Big thing, to Randy Savage vs Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania. And it was brilliant. It was a brilliant plan. It was fantastic. It was fun. It was good. Planning in advance is not a bad thing. Problem is, it has to be a good plan. And Punk vs Roman on surface is a good plan, for example. It's a very good plan. It's a good match. It's just, there's no real progressive build to it. They haven't really interacted since last WrestleMania, and now you're going back to it. You know? You can say, like, oh yeah, they interacted at Survivor Series War Games, but not really. Like, there wasn't much of anything. I think that's a fundamental problem. It's just WWE at the moment is not much of anything. And now I'm going to go through the card. But what I want to do to start off with, I'm actually going to talk about highlight of the entire show for the wrong reasons. The reveal of who was in the box. So I'm going to do this in non-linear fashion. And the reveal of who was in the box wasn't so much a who, it was a what's in the box, it was casket. And then after that, it was sort of like, well, who's in casket? And it's Danhausen. Now, obviously, if you watch AEW, you know who Danhausen is. Well, you might, if you've watched it since its inception, because he hasn't done anything in months and months and months. In fact, years at this point. But he was this guy who came out, face paint on, and cursed people, and did the was with best friends bit, was with Hook. He's part with Hook. It was Hookhausen, which is actually quite a cool thing. But since Punk's left, he hasn't really done anything in AEW. And now he's in WWE, and crowd did not give a shit. They didn't know who he was, because why would they? Like, he hasn't done anything in ages. But I still love segment because it's proper wrestling bollocks, and I love crap. I love shit in wrestling, and it was absolute shit. It was so funny that the crowd did not care who he was, and I just sat there thinking, I love more of this, because it's entertaining. Look, if you can't be good, be entertaining. If you can't be entertaining, be so bad it's fun. That's the three aspects of wrestling. Boring? I don't want boring. I just want fun. And Danhausen was fun. Well, maybe was. The crowd didn't care, so he'll probably be sent to wherever Roy Ski's got sent to for the Academy for AEW wrestlers who don't go over in WWE. Anyway, back to wrestling matches. So the evening started with the women's war games match, elimination chamber match. See, it's just all going in heading the same way because they always have a good match with these stipulation matches, but it seems to be the same goddamn match every time. A good match, competent match, but nothing more than that. And after me, I did tune out. Partly because I just think the result they wound up with Rhea Ripley versus Jade was the most obvious result they have. Because at this point, Jade has no one she's really feuding with except for me and BFAB, which is fine, but it's not a WrestleMania match. So it's basically who can you have a feud with, and it's going to have an ultimate aura straight away. No, really built in intrigue, and it's Rhea Ripley. Because also Rhea Ripley should be top card because she's the best female worker they have in terms of credibility, and also she's the most over, and also she's cool, and she's popular, and she's charismatic, and she is the biggest star. There are better workers, but Rhea is like the whole package that you need to main event the show, like WrestleMania. Well, not main event, because they're not a main event, because, like, you know, guys want airtime this year, but it's even like that, so it was a decent match, but it's just, I just feel like they're all the same at this point. Like, they've hit their comfort zone of these matches, and they don't want to progress, and I think the real snap for me is AEW's, like, Blood and Guts last year, the all-women's version, was incredible because it felt like they're challenged to do new cool stuff, and I don't really feel like they're really allowed to do that in these matches in WWE. And also, I don't think anyone really benefited from being in the match. You can say Kian Jordan, but she didn't really do anything, you know? And also her entrance. So like, everyone talks about how she's the next big thing, but like her entrance, people can say crowd isn't into it, but they've got no reason to be into it at all. So that match was okay. Then got AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch. Not AJ Styles and Michael Cole. Michael Cole called her because I don't know why he did so dumb. But their match was okay. I mean, I think Becky's an exceptional wrestler in terms of sort of like maybe not best in-ring worker, but she can beat best matches. I think she's great at that. But AJ, I think I mentioned this in my pre-thing for the show that like I don't think she's really was match ready, and she didn't really show she was. But it's not her fault. She's just sort of like WWE's new things, sort of like with part-time aspect. People don't work enough to get that good, you know. Like she needs reps, but they won't give reps, and they say in commentary, "Oh, she doesn't have enough reps," and so like, well, give her some fucking reps, you know. Like logically, but it's a good match. It wasn't quite as effective as it should have been because you know they keep drumming that AJ Lee's based in Chicago, but like that's never really been a big part of her character. So I think the crowd was into it, but not as much as they would have otherwise been. So yeah, it's a pretty good match, right result, but then you think, well, what's going to happen for Mania? Is Becky going to feud with Jessica Kyra, who clearly screwed her again? Or are they going to do another match with her and AJ? I mean, I don't know, but yeah, it's just a shame that Lyra has been completely forgotten because she is probably in-ring the best worker WWE has at all at the moment, and she's not really doing anything. She's sort of like got that team Bailey, but again, not really doing anything. And then we come to CM Punk versus Finn Balor, which was good. I think Finn's at the point now where I don't think Finn can have a bad match. But I also think you're not really going to get a classic because they haven't done enough to really reinvest him properly. He's sort of hit the point. I mean, part of that was because they didn't really reheat him face Punk in the first place. They've kept him at a small level and sort of like going, oh yeah, you're challenging for title now. But no one thought he was going to beat Punk in Ireland. And if they hoped they would, didn't happen, and he wasn't going to beat Punk in Chicago, and so in the end it was a decent TV style match, but the result wasn't in doubt. I mean, they kept saying, oh, he might hijack WrestleMania, but it's like, we know that Bruce Pritchard, for example, doesn't like multi-man top title matches at Mania unless there's a story behind them, and this wasn't really there. And they've also done the whole Finn wants to get his respect thing back with Seth. They did that years ago, and they had a multi-month feud, and he didn't win that either. So yeah, I think Finn's just hit the point where he's hit his plateau, and they're never going to take a chance on him again, which is sad, but you know, like that's just how it works. I always think it's dumb because like they could have done more with him to set this match up, but I think WWE's weird logic is they'll set some things in mind months and months in advance, and other things they won't. If they knew Finn was going to be challenging Punk, which they didn't clearly, but if that was their plan, you know, they should have been having Finn go on a bit of a win streak before that, rather than just like get a match, lose the match, and be like, oh, I'm challenging you again, which is kind of dumb. But it's the only reason he did the match at all, really, was to have after the match Punk and AJ have sweet separation, and Punk clearly did not know she's coming out. And it's a really touching moment, but it just makes you think like, you know, maybe it could have been maybe Punk could have had a more competitive match, but it's just like, well, the other side is he doesn't want to get hurt as close to Mania, so they're going to limit what they're doing a bit. Although he did get bust open, so that's something. So I enjoyed the match, but I didn't think it's great. And then Men's Elimination Chamber, all criticisms I have about female one amplified here. It was fine. It was okay. I think they missed out not having Bronson in it, because I think having the big guy F1 teams up to beat, usually a cool spark match like this. Predictable, but cool. They didn't have that. They had Logan Paul instead, who seems to have digressed as a worker. I don't know what happened to him. He used to show genuine signs of brilliance, but now it's like he's settled into that predictable WWE style, and it's just not fun to watch. Maybe it's because they had him beat him up so big to start off with, and then after that they did nothing with him. So that's probably it. They obviously did Seth's spot where he unmasked, finally. That Masked Man storyline is so fucking stupid. Didn't make any goddamn sense in general. The amount of people like, oh, Austin Theory's the Masked Man, but there's other Masked Men. But WWE just cares about moments, and they'll go, Seth got you all again, he tricked you, and it's like, he didn't. Like, this isn't a trick thing. Like, we knew it was going to wind up being him, you know? And yeah, then we got Drew interfering, and Cody Randy hit Drew with an RKO. Cody went for a crossroads, then Randy hit Cody with an RKO, pointing out again how Cody is one of the stupidest bait faces of the history of bait faces. So it's very much like his sort of mentor Sting, or his idol Sting, in case Sting constantly got betrayed. But why would Randy do that, you know? But I think that also winds up to, it's cool that Randy and Drew are now having Mania match in theory with a crowd, because there's such a great rivalry in 2020 with no fans, and it'll be cool to see them play that back with fans, although probably be a multi-man match. I don't know how it's going to get Jacob involved, because clearly Jacob needs his friends on Drew. But I guess that probably either Cody or Sammy will be revealed as one who attacked Jacob, and they'll do that match. I don't think they'd really be doing a three-way match at Mania. Just don't think that really works with regards to the world title. But who knows? My general summary of this PV was, it was okay. It was kind of dull. You know, it's just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel, the peak of WrestleMania doesn't feel like it's there. Last year it had all that awesome Rock Cody Cena stuff that went nowhere, and seems to be the opposite this year, because there's no enthusiasm for Mania, so maybe Beard's actually going to be good this year, rather than peak at Elimination Chamber and then go to shit. Anyway, that's my view of the show. It was okay. Best part was Danhausen, which was also the worst part, so I don't know what that says. Anyway, yep. So there's my review. Thanks for watching, not watching. I don't know. I don't fucking know. If you want to subscribe, it's there. There's movies, there's crazy shit. I don't know. Okay, fuck it. Bye.